There is still confidence that Republicans will hold on to the House. However, at 247 to 188, Democrats have to win 30 seats. There's less confidence today than there was 2 weeks ago. On the Senate side, it's much more precarious for the Republican majority. And we thought we'd take a look around at some of the closest Senate races around the country. If you look at the closest right now in the polls, it's right here in Pennsylvania. Democrat Katie McGinty, a former state and federal environmental policy official, is up against incumbent Senator Pat Toomey. As we take a look at the polls, McGinty is currently leading in the average of polls by less than a point. Now, battleground Pennsylvania, energy is a big deal. Toomey has pushed for a future of coal and natural gas in his re-election bid. McGinty, meanwhile, has pledged to support clean energy measures. It's a big issue there. Toomey has not been crystal clear about his support for Donald Trump, a fact that his opponent has called him out on.
I do think that it's incumbent upon Senator Toomey to come clean with the people of Pennsylvania about his support for Donald Trump. He keeps trying to dodge the question. But what more do we need to know?
The choice really comes down to whether we're going to elect a Hillary Clinton-Katie McGinty combination that will simply make permanent the disastrous failures of the Obama administration, or whether we're going to be able to change this track we're on, this wrong track that we're on, and get America moving again in the right direction.
And obviously questions have increased in recent days. Now let's take a look at another state very close here in North Carolina. Deborah Ross, a former Democratic state legislator, up against sitting incumbent Republican Senator Richard Burr, the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. You can see Burr here holds on to a slight lead. Deborah Ross has repeatedly said that Senator Burr has done little in his time in Washington, D.C. for North Carolina. Burr is trying to portray Ross, a former ACLU lawyer, as someone who would not be tough on crime. In the debate last night, you can imagine what came up.
One thing I can tell you is that Hillary Clinton is prepared to be commander-in-chief on day one. Donald Trump has demonstrated particularly this week that he is singularly not qualified to be our commander-in-chief.
When somebody asks for forgiveness, you grant it. Now, I'm not going to defend Donald Trump, what he said or his actions, but when I look at our choice, it's not close for me. I'm going to support my nominee. I'm going to support Donald Trump.
The third closest Senate race in the average of polls is right here in New Hampshire. And there you see incumbent Republican Kelly Ayotte up against the current Democratic Governor Maggie Hassan. Now, you look at the polls here. Ayotte has a slight lead in the average of polls. Senator Ayotte has accused Governor Hassan of trying to take undeserved credit for New Hampshire's state budget. Hassan has used Ayotte's past statements that she would vote for but not endorse Donald Trump to her advantage. Their third debate was actually this afternoon, this time on radio, and Ayotte and Hassan sparred over this issue again.
I will stand up to anyone in the Oval Office if I don't think they're doing the right thing for New Hampshire. I would ask your listeners to consider whether Governor Hassan would ever stand up to Hillary Clinton strongly on anything of significance.
What you didn't hear my opponent say is why she supported Donald Trump for over a year, as he made one sexist comment after the next, as he made one racist comment after the next, as he made fun of people with disabilities. He is a man who seems to think cruelty is a sport, and her support for him has been unacceptable.
So Donald Trump coming up in a lot of these Senate races around the country. As far as the Clinton Foundation and the investigations into the email server and WikiLeaks, not coming up as much.